welcome to Leave Me Alone. I'm working on it.
Okay.
My name's Cassie J.
I'm Aure.
Cassie J. Like Jessie J.
Except her J is J.
I'm not
And
having
yours
this conversation
was a
again.
J, but then Matthew,
not
thank
having-
you very much. Our
I
editor,
liked how it
Matthew,
looked. I liked
spelled
how
it
it
as
looked.
Jay, and this hun is like, actually.
I take this. You know what? Shout out to you, Matthew. I accept. I appreciate. Yalla Bina, let's go. Okay, so you know me.
Do I?
You know a lot about me. Let's say that. You know me, and you know that one of the things I love to do is meet new people.
Oh, God, it's so annoying.
Why?
It's simultaneously the best and the worst thing about you.
I want to unpack this emotion.
We'll arrive. Like we just go to a new place. We don't even know what's plotting. We don't know anything, and we walk into the lift, and Cassandra's making friends.
Yeah, he was a nice guy.
You don't know that. For all we know, he could be a serial killer.
For all we know, he could be, but he looked like a really nice grandpa.
And Cassandra's making friends, and they're chatting, and I'm in the corner of the elevator, just like, oh, can this be over? And this one is like you'd think that they'd known each other for years.
He was asking about, we had balloons. There was so much to talk about. There was so much to unpack. And anyway, I love people. I love meeting people. I love walking up to a group of people, introducing myself, finding out their stories, and then I'll often walk away from an experience.
Doesn't remember the person's name.
No, sometimes. 60% of the time I remember the name. 40% of the time, sorry. But I do. I love to meet new people, and I love to talk to new people because I think that people are fascinating, and I think that people are interesting, and I think that they've got great stories, and I want to hear them all. All the time. But one of the things I love to do is when I meet new people or when I'm spending an extended amount of time with new people, I love to play a little game.
Is this the where are you from game?
No, it's not the where are you
Because
from
we do
game.
that to everyone.
Do I?
Yes.
What does that mean? I love learning about myself from other people's perspectives. What does that mean?
You did it to Ahmad just now. Every single time you meet someone new and they tell you their name, the next question is, where are you from?
Oh, really?
Yes, where are you from? And then you proceed to rummage through that brain of yours to see, what do I know about this country this person has just told me they're from?
True. That's so true, because I think to myself, it's so true. We just met Ahmad, who's our person for today. What do we call you, Ahmad? Our
studio operator.
Studio operator Ahmad from Jordan. He's great. But I think it's because I like to go, okay, where are you from? And living in Dubai, there are people from all over. And again, me who loves people, I find it absolutely fascinating. I'm like, tell me everything. I want to know it all. Anyway, but I do love to play this game, and I call it unpopular opinion. Okay, and I will ask a new group of people, what's something that you believe to be true? You believe it, it's something you feel, it's something you believe, but that if other people heard it or if you expressed it out loud, people would be like, what? I think for me, it's so funny. It's so telling. You learn a lot about a person through that. And some of the things are light and silly. I don't like whiskey. In my mind, whiskey, it's all the same thing.
You don't like whiskey?
I really don't. You've never seen me drink whiskey. I don't have the appreciation for it. And for me, if you give me, and I can feel the people already going, if you give me something that was made in someone's basement and 24-year-old scotch that was made in the Scottish Highlands, the same thing.
Wow.
It's the same thing. I don't like it. So it often ranges from things that are super light, but sometimes it gets really deep. Because people have strong opinions on things. And there's been once or twice where it's descended into absolute chaos.
I can see that happening.
And
And
I
I
was
don't
just
think
like-
it's once or twice, guys.
No, really. There's only been once or twice. Because most times people are pretty civil about it. But the once or twice it's descended into chaos. But the one the one time, so like we played it, someone was like, I think Beyonce is overrated.
Yo.
And the beehive in the room came for this person. They were like, what? No. And
I
then
actually just saw a tweet recently, like 2
Yeah.
days ago, about
Yeah.
this, where this man is like, homegirl released 3 mid albums back to back,
Yeah.
and her fans are still hyping her like she's
Yeah.
the best thing since sliced bread. And and at first I was like, who? But then I go into the comments and people are like, say her name, say her name if you dare. And I'm like, oh, I know who this is. I know
so this
exactly
person
who
didn't
this
even
is.
say Beyonce.
They came for him so hard.
But
The-
he didn't even say
he
Beyonce.
didn't say her name. He didn't say Beyonce. He
Shoo.
just said it.
Yeah.
And then his next 2 tweets were him literally begging for his life and his kids.
What?
He's like,
no, but like as
guys,
a joke.
not a joke. He's like, guys, I'm a single father of 2. I'm just trying to get by. Please leave us alone. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it. Like, he's literally begging.
That's
on
so
Twitter.
hectic. It's such a crazy response.
know.
And just because this is what he believes.
This is what he believes.
It is his unpopular opinion, but it is his opinion. Other unpopular opinions, and these are conversations that I've been in. Science, maths, business degrees, are easier than the arts. English degrees, acting degrees,
It's
graphic design.
harder than
Those are the
sci-
ones, science is harder than the arts.
Oh.
It's the left brain, right brain. Exactly. No. Woo. And this was one of the ones that got heated because this guy, he was just like, it's the reality. It's
Is
the
what?
truth.
That science
He's
is
like,
harder.
science is harder. Like science is harder, maths is harder, a commerce degree is harder, a law degree is harder, an accounting degree is harder than getting a degree in drama, music, art, any kind of creative, any kind of bachelor of arts. This is literally what he said. He was like, any kind of bachelor of arts is a much easier degree than a BCom or a BSci.
I've got one word for you, sir. 2 syllables. Juilliard.
Hectic. So this came up. People were literally like, Juilliard. And he was like, it's not that you're not the best at it. You can be the best artist. This is not my opinion. By the way, just want to clarify that. His whole thing was, you can be the best artist, but even if you are at Juilliard and you are the top pianist at Juilliard, that is easier than getting a degree in science or maths or whatever. This was his opinion.
Okay. Look, when you don't know how to do something, because my initial response was going to be like, it probably is a bit harder because of there's like a lot involved, or like there's like a lot of elements, involved in, for instance, getting a degree in engineering, or becoming being a pharmacist, a pharmacologist, right?
Yeah.
Or being a doctor, a surgeon. I almost want to be like, it probably is harder, but then who defines what hard is?
Yeah.
Because how much blood, sweat, and tears goes into both of these things?
Correct.
It's probably going to be equal.
Correct. And I think one of the things that I said to him was like, okay, similar to what you were saying is, we're not going to know until you go and get a degree in science and you get a degree and go to Juilliard.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not, we're not really going to ever really be able to compare. But at the same time, I guarantee you that there are going to be things for you that are harder, because he was very obviously left brain. I think his left brain is the math science brain. Mm-hmm. He was very left brain. And he was like, those things are naturally going to be easier for you. And when you move into right brain world, you're going to struggle.
Yeah,
it's going to be so much harder for you. Anyway, this is one of the things. The other thing, the whole conversation, vegan, vegetarian versus not being vegan, vegetarian.
I do want to try it though. I want to try go vegetarian for like a month.
I think I
don't
could
know
also
if I
do.
would survive it.
I don't think I would survive
Vegan
veganism
for a month. Yeah, I can survive vegetarian.
I think we could do vegetarian. We should actually take this on. We should do like a month where we go. Embrace the challenge, girl. Embrace the challenge.
Fine. Okay.
We should do a month where we
but
go.
that's so
where we go
hard.
well, let's just see what the impact is on us. I'm interested just for the experiment.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. But this whole vegetarian, vegan versus not.
Yeah,
My view on this, honestly, like if you want to be vegan, you want to be vegetarian, do it. It's fine. But don't force yourself on me.
Yeah.
Okay? Me, I really love a chicken drumstick. Okay? It brings me joy.
You love
it
a
makes
chicken
me
nugget.
happy. I love a chicken nugget. Oh, good grief, I love a chicken nugget.
I don't understand that thing. Look,
Or
that's my unpopular opinion.
There it is. I was going to say.
What are you people eating in chicken nuggets?
I don't understand how you don't like chicken nuggets.
I hate it. So I tried it because okay.
You tried it 'cause
I
of
know
me.
that I'm gonna hate it, and then I'm like, and Cassie's like, no,
Just
you must try it. You must try. And so I tried it, and I gave it to you. I couldn't eat that thing, and I'm like, what are you people eating?
What's happening?
It was so bad. I'm sorry, I can't. There's no other way.
I think you're mispronouncing the word delicious over there. Like you're just a little bit of a mispronunciation.
I'm sorry, that thing is trash. Toss it out. That thing is not it.
Ahmad, how do you feel about chicken nuggets?
I love it.
Exactly! Chicken nuggets are the best!
What is wrong with the two of you?
Chicken nuggets are the best.
I'm sorry, like you're my client, but like, how?
Okay,
Ahmad is upset.
Okay,
Ahmad is upset. And you know what? I'm with Ahmad. Even
No
me,
thanks.
I'm upset. I don't understand how you don't like chicken
No
nuggets.
thanks.
Like after like a night
If
out,
that
like
thing
you've been like
doesn't exist
dancing, you've been having a good time, you've been having a few drinks, you drive past McDonald's on the way home and you get yourself some chicken nuggets. Ooh, slaps. Slaps. Anyway,
No,
okay.
Miss me with that one.
Climate change isn't real.
Cass, are we just gonna go through all of the insanity that's on the internet today?
This is not the internet. These
Oh,
are
these are
conversations.
chats you've had
These
with
are
actual
chats I have
people.
had with actual people. These are chats I've had with actual people. The other one is, and this is I know you feel very strongly about as well.
What?
Is the only way to lose weight is calories in, calories out.
No, I'm not saying that it's not calories in, calories out. I'm aligned with that as a concept.
Yes.
Where I'm struggling is with these trainers, Pedro excluded, obviously. Pedro's my
Shout out to
trainer.
Pedro.
It's with these trainers who think that because they are personal trainers, they now know the better than the doctors. Like the trainers that I'm upset with are the ones who do not give any room for any medical conditions that limits or inhibits weight loss.
Yes.
So you've got diabetes, or you've got insulin resistance, or you've got PCOS, or you've got whatever. You've got vitamin D deficiency.
Yeah.
Like they're like,
Or you've
all
just
of
got
that-
like emotional stuff.
or your stress, or your cortisol
stress.
is high,
Yeah.
you know, and they discount all of that and say it doesn't matter what's happening as far as you count calories in, calories out, it's fine. But like the medicine doesn't say that that's not true.
Yes.
And they come for everyone and says everyone is lazy.
Very passionate.
Obviously, because
Very
I
passionate.
think it's just like it's not gonna work. It's not a one size fits all.
Correct.
Because for some people, like for me, I did intermittent fasting, which I enjoy because I don't even eat breakfast on a normal day. But then the other side will tell you breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And I'm like, okay, but so what? I can't eat that thing. Like I don't even remember food until like 12.
Yeah.
You know? So I feel like my issue, sorry guys, you can see I'm upset. My issue is let people the way they can people.
Let people the way they can people. Love that. If you take anything away from today, but you know what? You say this, but let's talk about that. Like not the weight stuff, which you're very, very passionate about, and you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But this idea of people peopling the way they people. Okay?
That is like the emptiest sentence.
But it's empty, but
it also makes
perfect
sense.
It
Right,
makes perfect
okay.
sense. And I think we live in a world today where people the way they people, okay? But people are operating with opinions and their beliefs that they are either like absolutely vilified for or they are absolutely praised for. You know, there's these two like absolute extremes, and we see this in the comment section of anything on social media. This poor man, he makes a comment about Beyonce, and the
Yeah.
Hive comes for him. Not only for him, for his family. We look at Jimmy Kimmel when the whole Jeffrey Epstein thing happened, and he was told that someone said, really just in passing, oh, Jimmy Kimmel's probably on the list. The way people came for Jimmy as well, like, because they now believe that Jimmy is in support of all these things. In the media, all the different stories that we read, that we hear, like people will express an opinion and are either vilified or absolutely praised. And this is why, as a result, some people choose not to people. Like, not to people publicly.
Not to people public, because you can't not people.
You
You
can't not
have
people.
to. You exist in this, sphere with all the rest of us. But then you now have to decide, like, what am I going to be public about, and what am I going to just keep to myself? Because sometimes if you're and you're right, if what you're saying or how you feel doesn't align with whatever's currently trending, because the wild thing is that the as humans, we change our minds on things so much.
100%.
So quickly.
I was going there as well.
So quickly we change our minds.
100%.
Today, this person is cancelled. Tomorrow, we see a picture of them, I don't know, feeding poor kids, and then they're back in our good graces. Tomorrow this person is a home wrecker, but now she's been with this man whose home she wrecked for 10 years, and they are couple goals. We change our minds so easily, and like, just because you are on the right side of things today doesn't mean it's not going to flip tomorrow.
Absolutely.
So how long do you want to do this yo-yo thing for?
100%. I mean, and let's talk about this whole
pick what you believe and how you want to live your life. And the thing is, even though you've taken a stance, right? This is what I believe today. This is how I'm peopling today. As you grow, as you learn.
I love that we've created a new verb. I love it. I'm peopling.
As you grow, as you learn, as your experiences change.
Exactly.
These things would influence you, and you might realize that you don't still believe the thing you previously believed, or you still do. It's 100%. Okay.
And I think that in today's, you're right. There's the balance between flip-flopping on a belief, on a decision, on an opinion, okay? And then there is uncovering new information.
Exactly.
Right? If I learn something new, if I have a stance, I have a position, and then there is more data that is added to the system. There is more information that is included in the report. I now have more information, and it's okay if I need to now change my decision.
It is okay.
Right? And change my position. The other thing about this is that because we, again, this whole, like, you're either vilified or praised, like, there's no middle ground. Because this happens, is it doesn't create space for people to ask questions. And this is where cancel culture then becomes a thing, because now I'm genuinely trying to understand something. I'm genuinely trying to, dive deep into an issue. I'm going to pick the whole thing on gender equality, for example. As a man, okay, I've grown up in a society that has been shaped, developed, and created for me. I've now getting all of this information that there's a problem, something's wrong. And in diving deep into that, I have a question. Okay, but do women really want this? Is that how it works? But in my experience, women have always stayed in the kitchen and cooked. That's what I know. But to express that, people will come for you so hard. But what you're actually trying to do is unpack the information and process it and try and understand it. And if we keep staying in this cancel culture space, we don't create a safe space for people to learn new things, learn a new habit, adopt a new opinion.
But what you must understand is that the internet is not a safe space. If you want to understand, it's never going to be a safe space. If you want to understand or unpack something, you need to find, those kinds of spaces where you can actually ask these questions without being vilified, whether that's a friendship group or a community or people who you can be like, okay, I'm not trying to be, whatever. I'm just seeking to understand. And you ask your questions, without attacking people, without attacking people's beliefs, I think you'll be fine. Don't come and do it on the internet. They're going to
for sure. Look, on the internet,
up.
but also within your circles as well. Like, even if it's not in the internet, like if it's in a work setting, and this is not. Gender equality was one example, right?
Yeah.
Like, but if I'm in a work setting and someone comes in and has a piece of information, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't agree with that. Even in those spaces, you can be heavily judged for seeking
Will
to
be.
understand.
Yeah.
But I think a large part of what we're saying is, and this is a question that I was asking myself, is where do we draw the line on challenging someone's belief system, so challenging their opinion and accepting, what they believe, and just kind of letting people the way they want to people. No, but for reals, where's
Let
the line?
people the way they want to people.
We have said this, okay? The world has said this. America has a whole law on this. I'm sure other countries do as well. But it's this freedom of speech, the freedom to do what you want, the freedom to say what you want, to be what you want, like to do what you want. Where's the line? Because right now, the world feels a little bit like it's descending into chaos.
A little?
Because of this whole thing. Because as soon as you come after someone for saying something that we all feel inside of us that is wrong, their immediate response is freedom of speech. Freedom of speech, I'm allowed to. Look at Donald Trump. He says a whole lot of insanely racially charged, sexist charged. It's crazy, but he's allowed to because freedom of speech. Where's the line?
Look, I think that freedom of speech is definitely something we want to uphold and keep, 1,000%. It's funny because in Nigeria there's a run, and I've said this to you before, there's a running joke where people are like, freedom of speech is allowed, but freedom after speech is not guaranteed.
You
Like if you say some shit in public, whatever happens to you after that, nobody guaranteed you were going to be okay. You're allowed to say it, but the consequences will arrive and you must deal with.
And you must deal with them.
I mean, I know it's a joke, but we must uphold freedom of speech, I think. Because if we in the bid to shut down people who are saying, for lack of a better word, dumb shit, if we put an umbrella on it and say freedom of speech is no longer allowed, then people who are saying the right things are also going to be shut down. People who are speaking about the things that need to be spoken about will also be silenced.
Correct.
So we need to maintain and uphold that. But I still think that conversations need to be had about, because there's slander, there's there's legalities.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to put those in place as well, because there's certain things you should not be allowed to say. I don't care about whether or not freedom of. You should
I was
be allowed
actually
to
about
say
to be
some
like,
things.
like what?
So I was watching.
No, don't say it.
No, wait. I was watching
okay.
this episode of Law and Order.
Law and Order,
SVU.
her favorite, guys. I've been indoctrinated into family tradition. So family tradition is every Sunday night.
Every Sunday night at 9
We
p.m.
watch Law and Order.
Is Law and Order.
We watch Law and Order. We watch Law and Order SVU, and we watch Law and Order Criminal Justice Unit. Criminal something.
Organized
experience.
crime.
Organized crime.
So I was watching this episode, and this guy is a radio host.
Yeah.
And he says the dumbest, wildest things.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even repeat some of the things he says, but some of the things he says basically call for men to rape women.
I watched this episode
Did you
with
watch
you.
it? Call for people to be killed for their beliefs.
Wow.
Call for people to be...
It was insane.
It's wild the
It was
things
insane.
he says, and he was covered under freedom of speech.
Yeah.
But he was allowed to say anything. And the sad part of it was that his listeners now started to take the things he was saying and were carrying out those acts.
True. It was bad.
But they couldn't do anything to him because he's covered under freedom of speech. And he's like, I didn't tell them to do anything.
Yeah.
That's where I have a problem. Those kinds of things need to now be... Because now if you've gone and killed someone because the person you listened to on a podcast, on a radio show said this person needs to be killed
to die.
and gives a full descriptive account of how, where, when that person should be killed, and then you carry this out, you're liable. I don't care. Like, you created the scenario, you put this thing in this person's mind, they've gone and acted on your behalf.
Yeah.
So I think we do need to monitor like those kinds of things, because you can't be out here saying anything and having people killed and having people murdered and raped and whatever, and saying, oh, it's freedom of speech. No, no.
Look, I hear you, and I think that there are things that are, black and white, obvious, that would be painful, So in this example of Law and Order, like, it is... I don't want to call it an extreme, but it's an example on the extreme end. There are also things that are a little bit closer to the gray area that they're still if this is the scale, they're on this side, but they're a little bit more on the gray where it's like, oh, okay,
But did you instigate someone to commit a criminal act? Because that's where I'm at. I'm like, if you instigate someone
I
to
think I'm
commit a
talking
criminal
more
act,
in general in terms of opinions, right?
in opinions, it's fine.
Is it fine?
If your opinions aren't directly or indirectly instigating people to commit criminal acts against other people, you can say whatever you want.
Okay, so what if an act is not criminal, okay, but it is detrimental to the fragility of society?
Like what? Give me an example.
So, for example, what if someone is like, I have lived in a world where people who have hurt me or whatever are all black people. Okay? And so now my opinion is I'm afraid of all black people and black people we should be wary of black people. That's not criminal. That's my opinion based on my lived experience.
Yes.
Okay? And I share that with people openly as my opinion.
But what's wrong with that? Because it is your opinion based off of your lived experience.
So what can happen now is if someone else is engaging with your opinion and here's what you have to say and you are maybe very eloquent or maybe good at speaking or very believable, this now becomes a belief that permeates the system, right? Because Joe Soap told me that this happened.
Yeah.
And now even though it wasn't my experience, I'm now afraid of black people. I tell everybody else around me, guys, we need to be afraid of black people. And now we have institutionalized racism because there's this fear based off of, one opinion that has spread and
But
has
it's
now
like
become
that
belief.
thing that you said.
That's not criminal.
It's not criminal, but
But
it's
it
like
is
what you
detrimental.
said. The negative voices are always louder.
Yeah.
And what you had previously said, which I think is actually the right call to action, is we need to flood the system with
more
the
positive
positive
news.
voices.
I'm
is
with you.
So if you see a story, and that's why they say the danger of a single story, because this is this one person's one story from their experience. But now you must flood the system with other stories that
Yeah.
are like, I lived with black people rescued me. I lived with these Nigerian
Sure.
people who raised me. I met
Sure.
these Kenyans who did
Yeah.
this person from like, I don't know, from where? South Africa gave my son a kidney. You flood the system with the positive stories. We need to get to a point where we drown out the negative voices
I'm
or at
with
least
you.
minimize them a little
I'm
bit.
with you.
Because I don't think there's anything we can do about, for instance, I'll give you an example, wild example. But my lived experience is that black people, I'm going to need you guys to get into dermatology. Ora is upset now. I know you all want to go to NASA. You want to be president. You want to be what?
Guys,
I don't know. The
Ora
next
has
Bill
had a
Gates.
negative experience
Not
with
one,
dermatologists.
not two,
Yeah.
not three. I've seen 4 different dermatologists in the space of 2.5 years. None of them were melanated people, and none of them got.
Melaninly blessed.
None of them understood what was wrong with me. The first person said to me, "There's nothing wrong with your skin. What more do you want?" The
Wild.
second person was like, we'll give you this, try this for 2 weeks, it'll fine. Didn't
Wild.
work. The third person is like, what he said is correct, just continue what he said. The fourth person, she just needed me to get out of her office. She was just like, quick. I don't see anything. Like, I got home
Yeah.
and I went to Dami to be like, pull up my shirt. I was like, am I crazy? This thing is there, right? He's like, yeah, I can see it. I'm like, because this hand went and got like this blue light you need
Yeah,
to find blood,
she did
turned
the
out
whole
the
thing.
lights. There's nothing there. I felt like an insane person. So black people, get into dermatology.
Someone needs to get into
Because that's
dermatology.
my lived experience,
Yeah.
is that if you are a melanin blessed person,
You're not wrong.
The people who aren't, they don't get it. I'm sorry. You went to medical school. Skin is skin. Skin is not skin. Skin is not skin. Nobody's telling me that nonsense. So that's like, for me now, that's a story I will put out there.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, there
Yeah.
might be other black people
Yeah.
who have had good experiences
course.
with non-black dermatologists.
Yeah.
But this is my lived experience.
Yeah.
So if I put it out there and say all non-black dermatologists are not good, someone
But
else must
what
come
I'm
and
saying
drown
is-
out.
What I'm saying is you wouldn't say that.
I could
No,
literally this morning.
But this is my point.
But this is
Ore.
what I said to Dami this morning, yesterday. I don't remember. I was like, at this point, I feel like every non-black dermatologist that I've seen is racist.
Every
Literally what I
non-black
said.
dermatologist that I have seen. This is exactly my point, Ore, because you would never say every non-black dermatologist is racist. You would never make a claim like that.
Understood.
you would say every non-black dermatologist that I have seen. And then your opinion becomes, if I come to you and I'm like, oh, I want to go to Dr. Smith, you will say, I went to Dr. Smith my experience with Dr. Smith was a bad experience.
Yeah.
But if I say, I want to go to Dr. Jones, you're going to say, oh, I haven't been to Dr. Jones.
No,
Let me know how it is.
Right now, where I'm sitting, Cass, I'm like, if you are not black, I'm not seeing you.
I understand.
If you are not black, I'm not seeing you. And I'm going to say the same to everybody.
That you're going to say
so
that
as far
for
as Dr.
you,
Jones, Dr.
but
Sally,
you're
Dr.
not
Sandra,
going
they're
to
not
go,
black
you're
people.
not going to go on a journey and be like, to tell people, don't go to non-black dermatologists if you're not black.
I would.
You wouldn't say it. I don't think you would.
To the people in my life, I may not put it on Instagram. Actually, I might.
Well,
the way I'm upset.
Yeah, you are very upset. I think the point that I'm saying...
But I understand what you are saying. Like,
right,
I wouldn't tell a blanket story and say everyone...
And as a result, everyone is. Because, and I think this is the point that I'm coming to. To answer this question of where is the line between understanding someone's... like, letting someone believe what they believe and challenging that belief is... Ultimately, at the end of it, there must be some kind of value system that grounds us as humanity. Okay?
Yes.
A value system that grounds us as humanity, that grounds us as a people.
Yeah.
Okay? And I don't know what the terminology is for that. I don't know what it is called. I want to call it humanity. Because if at the core of what we do and what we believe and what we say, we keep to the center that it's about humanity and that these are people with their own stories, with their own journeys, with their own challenges, with their own experiences, I think that we can live in a world where unpopular opinions thrive and survive without being detrimental.
Yes. Because I think that the key thing there is that you're allowed to disagree.
You're allowed to disagree.
You're allowed to not agree with how I'm choosing.
You don't have to love Beyonce.
You don't have to love it.
I say that as someone who loves Beyonce.
Right. And you're allowed to walk into a space where people who love Beyonce are and say, I think she's aight. You know,
correct.
You're allowed to say that. And I'm allowed to be like, what? How dare you? And we are both allowed to walk away from that encounter. I still like her and you don't like her. It's fine. We are humans. We're going to people separately but together.
We're going to people separately but
you know, on this
coining
issue,
this term. Can we trademark the word people? We probabably can't. But I love it.
We're gonna people separately. It's fine on this particular issue. But it doesn't mean that we must now be separated. It doesn't mean that there must be a wall between us. It doesn't mean that we must try to kill each other. And that's where I struggle.
Or work so hard to get you to believe what I believe.
I can try. Look, you put up the argument. I can try to bring you over to my side. I'm like, I think this is better. We have a debate and an exchange of ideas. If at the end of that you still say, I hear you, but nah, girl, it's okay.
It's okay. It needs to be okay.
It changes nothing for me.
It needs to be okay.
I'm going to go ahead and enjoy my Beyonce in the car on the way home. You do you, boo. You know, so...
So yeah, anyway, so that's that on
What's
unpopular...
the message for the episode? Let people the way they want to people.
Let people the way they want to people within the value system of humanity.
Within the value system of humanity.
Within the value system of humanity.
Yes.
Right?
I agree.
So let people the way they want to people within the value system of humanity, and I think we'll be okay.
Yeah.
I think we'll be okay.
Agreed. Around the line.
So thanks so much for joining us for this episode of Leave Me Alone, I'm Working on It. Please come say hi on socials. You can find us on Instagram, on TikTok. You can also follow us on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. Like, follow, comment, subscribe, do all of those things because that's how we can continue to do all of these things. And let us know what your unpopular opinions are. I want to know. What's your unpopular opinion? What do you believe?
Going to the spa.
Pineapple on pizza. Love. We are.
I know the Italians hate us for this.
We are pro pineapple on pizza.
Pro pineapple, not pro spa.
I'm pro spa.
I hate the spa.
Send me spa vouchers. I'll do that then. Okay. Love you. Bye.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Hey, thanks for listening. Please don't forget to like and subscribe anywhere and everywhere you find your podcasts. Also, you can watch and subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Okay, love you. Bye.